With Pokemon Presents being just under 8 weeks away, an interesting development is occurring. Rumors and speculations have started to fly that we might be getting a Johto game at the end of this year. Why Johto game? That might feel particularly random, however, there's been a couple of hints as well as some timings that make this have a lot of credibility. Let's start with hints from the game. In the Indigo Disk, the most current DLC we have, when you complete Parent's side quest, she gives you a sport ball, and that sport ball has a description that tells you that it's specifically from Johto. And while that might sound fine, that's never been the case. In fact, if you go look at all the flavor text used in prior games, all it says is a special Pokeball that's used during the bug catching contest. However, in Scarlet and Violet, it specifies a special Pokeball that was used in the bug catching contest in the Johto region. That could just be a coincidence, but Pokemon doesn't tend to usually do that. On top of that, the Teal Mask, the DLC prior, takes place in a region that's kind of like Japan, which is strange because we haven't been to a Japan-based region in ages. The closest thing was Alola, but even then, that was in Hawaii. That brings up the question why. They could have easily done something like the Spanish Peninsula and have an extension to the map similar to what Sword and Shield did, but no. Instead, they decided to go two completely separate locations, one in Japan and one in Unova, which is in the United States. At the same time, if I were to just look at the game evidence, then you would think maybe Unova is next due to the abundance of Unova references in the Indigo Disk. But I do have other rumors and some hints from the anime that make me think otherwise. Starting with the rumor, it's the tweet posted by the Riddler crew. If you don't know who this guy is basically the main leaker of the Pokemon game community. He has leaked so many things through hints, and while not everything he hints about comes through in the game, he has been right more than he's been wrong. So I found it very interesting when he posted this tweet saying 2024 with a picture of Kanto, Johto, Unova, and Paldea. And then when someone in the comment responded, "Let's go Johto," he put out this response. Once again, that made me think, wait, we're going back to Johto? And we're getting a Let's Go style game? Although I would enjoy that, that still seemed far-fetched to me. And just for a little speculation, if I had to guess, if we were going to get a Let's Go style of Johto game, I don't think it would be with the Let's Go style capture mechanic. I think it might be a hybrid of some sort of Legends and Let's Go style game, where it's the Let's Go style graphics with the overhead camera, but maybe you capture Pokemon like the Legends Arceus style where you can just capture them without having to battle them. Just some ideas. But just having those as pieces of my evidence makes it feel really weak. In fact, you could argue that Unova is more likely going to be remade at the end of this year because of how many hints we've gotten in the Indigo Disk. And that's when it hit me. The anime. Historically, and even now, the anime is not really a show about the story. Sure, the anime has a story, but it's more a vehicle to promote whatever games, TCG product, or anything else that comes out in the Pokemon world. Don't believe me? The day the Indigo Disk came out, Terapagos officially debuted in the anime, and I'm talking about its Terastal form. So just because we don't have Ash in the anime anymore, doesn't mean that it isn't used for the same thing as it always has been. So what, you might be thinking? What does that have to do with how Johto is going to be the next game? I'm so glad you asked. It's a bit complicated to explain, but currently in the anime, our heroes are looking for 6 special Pokemon that'll help them get to Paradise. Not actually Paradise. It's basically what an ancient guy back in the days called Paradise. And our heroes want to help take Terapagos to that Paradise, but in order to do so, they need to capture 6 Pokemon of special significance that relate to Terapagos and this ancient guy. So far, our crew have managed to capture 3 of the 6 Pokemon, that being Arboliva, Galarian Moltres, and Lapras. The 4th Pokemon is a shiny Rayquaza, but while they already know of its existence, the story with this Rayquaza is trying to capture it. And it seems like this Rayquaza will be the last Pokemon they capture regardless. That leaves 2 other Pokemon, a Kleavor and an Entei. And if you don't realize by now, those 2 Pokemon have very special significance to Johto. Entei more so than Kleavor, but Kleavor also has a little bit of history. While Kleavor is an ancient Pokemon that hasn't been around in the modern day, the anime shows us that someone was able to find a picture of it. And Hisui and Johto have a lot of relations together. If you didn't know, modern day Hisui, which would be Sinnoh, and Johto are actually connected. That's why there's the Sinjoh ruins in the middle of Johto and Sinnoh. Sinjoh being a combination of Sinnoh and Johto. And Entei is obviously a legendary beast that resides in the Johto region. Now, the anime could have picked any 6 Pokemon as this legendary 6 group. As we've established that the anime is just a marketing tool for the game, if they were trying to promote Paldea, you would expect to see more Paldean Pokemon here. If Unova was the next game coming, you would expect to see at least 1 Unova Pokemon on this list, but they don't. Don't you find that strange? That is unless the Johto rumors are true. So if they were to announce, let's say, a Johto game in Pokemon Presents coming up in February, you would have the anime as a vehicle to start promoting the Johto region as our heroes go to find 2 Pokemon that could conceivably live in the Johto region. And one last piece of major evidence. 2024 is the 25th anniversary of when the Johto games came out. A quarter of a century since those games came out. Don't you think Game Freak are gonna wanna celebrate? So, looking at the timing, all of the rumors, the hints in the game, and the fact that the anime is focusing on Pokemon from the Johto region makes me think that in 2024, we're going to get a Johto-based game. Am I right? Am I wrong? Come back to this video after Pokemon Presents in February and I guess we'll see. But what do you guys think? Am I crazy for thinking this? Or do you think there's more to it? Let me know in the comments down below. Other than that, be sure to like, share, subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at TheRealPDGaming, and that's it. I will talk to you guys later. Peace.